Get up on your feet, give him some energy. Welcome to the stage, Lauren Duke, Heather Foltz, and Becky Brosset. Woo!
Wait, don't sit.
All right.
We're gonna do our selfie.
I like the energy.
mic's
All
on?
right.
Would you guys
Welcome.
remain standing
Is
really
my mic
quickly
on?
because
Okay.
we have to take a selfie. So everyone,
Okay,
Really
we're
quick.
I don't think my mic is on. Is my mic on? Okay. Woo. Okay, I can hear myself now. All right.
Here we
All right,
go.
let me go on this side.
Let's go.
All right.
Selfie
everybody, put
time.
your hands up.
thanks.
All right.
Yay.
Okay, guys. Well,
We'll
listen.
be sure to tag you all.
We'll be outside taking names.
The reason why we're here is because we want to talk about the Beachbody Challenge, and specifically, what are they doing to be so successful in building their businesses? So, you guys know we introduced the Beachbody Challenge a couple years ago. You guys saw the revenue growth. You saw that the hockey stick, for those Canadians that are here, happened about the time that we actually introduced the Beachbody Challenge. So it's been very, very successful. And again, we've got a lot of questions ranging from how do you attract customers to your challenge group? How do you turn them into coaches? Anybody want to know? And then, of course, how do you build incredibly effective challenge groups? So I'm going to start with Heather of Team Boss. So Heather, the first question I have for you is, what do you find is the most effective way of building challenge groups?
Really, the first thing I think is really important is for you to understand to be unique. I use social media when I promote my challenge groups, and how I do that is by creating a very unique photo. You don't want to get something that is just generically out there. I find having a photo of yourself, maybe you're doing a workout or showing your abs or doing something that's going to attract people, something that nobody else is using. Also, I put just something short and sweet as like an exciting caption. No essay, no description of exactly what I'm doing, something short and sweet like, I'm looking to change you, who's ready to commit to the next 21 days, like that's the 21-day fix one. And that's what I do, and I'll say, you're interested, like, comment, and we'll get connected, because I think if you put something too broad and too much of a story, people are going to overlook it. So just remember the biggest thing from that is to be unique.
So be unique. Now, Becky, I've seen you advertise for challenge groups, and I know you've got quite a few in your challenge groups every single month. What is your take on how to advertise for your challenge group? So every coach in here wants to hit Success Club 5. Every one of them wants to be a Success Club 5 and 10 All-Stars like you. So what have you found works with your style?
Okay, so how many coach level or emerald level coaches are in the room here today? Okay, so what we teach our team, my sister and I, is it's strategy. And it's a Success Club strategy that is intertwined with challenge groups. So what we encourage is advertising 2 groups per month, spaced out by 2 weeks. You can do first of the month and middle of the month. But what that's going to do is double your rate, that you're going to fill a group 1, but that you're going to hit Success Club 5 that month. Okay, so I know that that's a true marker of your business growth. So implement that and give it a shot. So 2 groups per month. The other thing, like Heather was saying about being unique, you can use terms, instead of using the word challenge group, that some people will think that you're like doing some kind of contest and they don't understand what that means. But if you use test group or maybe support group, it's a little more clear that you actually want to help them. So I also do that. If you're in tune with your brand, if you are, you know that you attract new moms, for instance, the way you word your post can be, I'm looking for women in their 30s or new moms in their 30s that are looking to lose 10 to 15 pounds in 21 days. That gives them a little snapshot, 21 days, you can do 21-day clean eating, or you can implement the 21-day fix, but you are limiting your audience. But if people are following you because you're a new mom, then they're gonna feel like you're speaking to them.
Okay, so let me piggyback off of that. So obviously we have a lot of programs. Anybody excited about PIO? Right? And so I know, and both of you talk about being unique, and you also talk about your brand, okay? a question that I've heard from coaches is, okay, so this is my brand, you know, let's say your brand is Tai Chang, but P90X or Power 90 just came out. What is your focus, Lauren, in terms of programs? How many do you recommend coaches focus on?
Well, everyone who knows me and follows me knows that my favorite program is Pump. I had the greatest transformation with that program. But if I limit myself to saying you have to do this program, I'm leaving out so many other people. So what I try to do is I get to know people. You know, what are your goals? What are your fitness likes? You know, what are your strengths? What are you already doing? So we can find something that balances that. Because if you love cardio and you already have something that you're interested in, I'm not going to recommend another cardio program. I'm going to recommend something that complements that to help you have the best results possible. What I found when I started challenge groups was if I stuck with just one program, I was boxing out everybody else. I was saying, oh, sorry, you can't be a part of this one if you don't want to do this program. So it felt very salesy, and that's not me. I wanted to get to know them and say, okay, well, based on your fitness goals, your limitations, you know, everything you just shared with me, I'm going to recommend these programs. You tell me what you like about this. Okay. And it opens up that line of communication. You develop a relationship with them, and they feel more comfortable with you. So I don't, you know, challenge groups have morphed for me, but they've always been about the person. They've always been about having that relationship.
Okay. So let me dig into that and actually go back to Heather. The question is, do you advertise for all of them, or do you go individually to each person? So again, that's the same question. We want to just see the different take. The thing that you're going to see, coaches, is there's 3 different ways. Some of them are very similar in the way they do it, and some of them are very different. The reason why we have it here is to have you make the choice as to what works for you. So Heather, I want to find out from you, do you advertise them for all? What's your take? What's your approach?
I do the same as Lauren. I don't limit programs because people are at all different fitness levels. So just by a raise of hands, I want to know, I'm sure you guys have all been in a challenge group yourself. Do you look for accountability? Raise your hand if you look for accountability. Okay, that's like all of you. That's why I do challenge groups, because it's about the accountability. I don't care what fitness program you're doing as long as you are moving. To me, it's about checking in and making sure that you have that support. So maybe you may limit how long you do your challenge groups, whether it's 30 days, because each program is ran differently. Because I've had people say, well, I'm 2 weeks into X3. I don't care. As long as you're moving, that's what matters to me. So I don't limit whatsoever.
Okay, okay. So you're still able to do that and still sticking to your brand, though.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, okay. So let's jump to starting challenge groups. As you talked about, Becky, you said you don't talk about challenge groups. Here's my challenge group. And when you're advertising challenge groups to your news feed, to your followers, every single month, and you use the same words, after a while it gets old, okay? So we want to get some fun, creative ideas of how you guys do it. So this is about actually running the groups themselves. And I think in running the groups, you start getting those ideas on how to advertise them. So we're switching into how do you actually run the group. So share some ideas of what you do to keep the group lively and connected and growing and actually achieving those results that they seek.
Okay, so I agree with Heather that these groups are about accountability, but I also want them to be fun, because you want everyone engaged, enjoying, building relationships where they feel comfortable to share and talk with each other. So I think at the beginning, some people are a little shy. They don't want to talk, and you want to get the group moving using contests, encouraging people to post sweaty pictures, who has the most posts in 1 week, or who has the best recipe of the week, but making it fun so people can, the group can start interacting with each other. I like using either the Weigh-In Wednesday or Saturday, where people can actually share their results and their goals and, again, celebrate. As coaches, we like the recognition and we like to be on stage and feel good that we're hitting Success Club and we're being told that we're doing a good job. So do our challengers. Most people want to know that you're there for them and that they want that pat on the back. So, shout outs. Just tell them they're doing a good job. But one thing with the shout outs, especially public, make sure that you ask permission first before you post it all over Facebook. Some people are really shy and they don't want their private information all over the place. But they do feel good, and it gives them that added push that, wow, I have, there's people that have my back, and they're helping me through this journey. The money jar, that's just creative ways to run a group where you can have them place like some change or $1 every time they work out, and at the end of the challenge, they can buy themselves a treat. They can go out to eat, they can buy a new sports bra, or save for another workout program. So keeping it entertaining and fun.
Okay, and this is a daily thing that you do.
Yes, daily.
Okay. By the way, by show of hands, how many actually started as purely a customer in a challenge group? Not a coach, but purely a customer. Okay? Anybody started as a coach in a challenge group? Okay, quite a few. Let's switch over to you, Lauren. How do you make the group fun, getting results, cohesive? Because in a group, you're always going to have the people that do it and are very active and engaged, and then you're going to have those that just don't do much. So share a few of what you guys have found work well.
Okay, a lot of what Becky said is what I do, making people feel valued within the group, doing the shout outs and asking permission, absolutely. I will not put names, but I will be like, you guys, I have to share this. I'll put it on my Fit page, I'll put it wherever I can. You will not believe what I just read in one of my challenge groups today. So-and-so is having amazing transformation, and it's up to them, but most of the time they're like, check it out. She totally called me out, and I love it, that's me. They take ownership of it. They are getting more excited because that's them. They're like, that's me. I'm owning that. Those are my results. I worked hard for them. What they do is they begin to share on their own with other people because they're proud of what they're accomplishing, and they come back and they're more involved in the group. So we do the Wacky Wednesday, we do the Thirsty Thursday, the Move It Monday. How many workouts are you going to do this week? Are you going to double up on Friday? It's all about, I'm competitive. It's all about kind of giving that, well, I'm showing up. Are you? And they are involved, and they are getting excited. And I call people out. If they're not posting, just say, how are you doing? And tagging them in the group. That's okay. Or I'll send them a personal message and say, we're here for you. Come on, come back. It's all about accountability. We are here to lift you up, and build you up, not break you down. So it's just about support.
Okay, so I'm going to dig in because you said a couple terms that totally just flew over my head. Maybe some of you, Wacky Wednesday?
Okay, it's just
Thirsty
a crazy picture.
Thursday?
I mean, you're going to see it later. We track our water. And I have a friend, and she might even be in this room. This isn't recorded today. She will say, how many times did you pee? And I'm telling you, people get excited about posting how many times. And they're like, 13! I'm like, dang, did you just sit in the bathroom all day? And so they get excited about that. Any little thing that they can win, they're going to own it. And so we do the Wacky Wednesday. I have a hot pink wig, and I'll be like, Flex Friday. We do Handstand Friday on our team, and it's incredible because one little thing like a handstand, it really pushes you to try something new, and you would be surprised what that one little thing can do. One little door that you open up, and all of a sudden they're trying crazy stuff that they saw on Pinterest, and you're like, whoa, don't hurt yourself. So it's just crazy, what one little spark can do.
So it sounds to me that one of the things that you're doing, and I'm digging in because I really like what you guys are talking about. No, not being crazy, but because you have a wide gamut of people in your group, you're always trying different things to get a reaction out of them.
Yeah, we're trying to antagonize them.
Come on. It doesn't sound like there's a cookie cutter approach. You just got to get creative, and you never know who's going to, I guess, bite and go with it. So one of the questions that I get a lot too, that I'm sure you guys have, is how do you manage your time? How many are working this business part-time? I'd say most of you. Okay. How many are working it full-time? Okay. So put yourself in their shoes. Most of them are working it part-time. Most of them probably have families. Most of them have demands with their community and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go to Heather and ask you, with two young boys, by the way, and Philip, and a whole lot of moving and building a home, how do you manage that many groups, okay? Are you techie? What have you found to manage your groups? I mean, every single month you're starting one. Some of them are 30, some of them are 90. Anyway, why don't you expand on that?
It's so funny because we were talking about this before and we all kind of lack in time management. So I just want to share that with you, that this is a struggle that everybody deals with. Myself personally, I am very all over the place because my time revolves around my two kids. Even though I am working this full time, my kids are like full time plus another full time job. They're 5 and 3. But what I do, and I have found to be very effective, is using Hootsuite, and I have to thank my coach Adrian for introducing it to me. It's an auto scheduler. It's free. It lets you use like 5 groups. So that way, I'm able to go in there and auto schedule a post for each group that I'm in, because I have a bajillion groups, and I just need to make sure that the ones that I'm currently active in, my challenge groups, they're getting something. One thing I do want to say, if you're going to use an auto scheduler like Hootsuite, is to make sure you don't become a robot. That is huge, because some people will find these automated websites and they're just going to be like, well, then I don't need to work. I can just make post. No, you can't do that. You just need to make sure you're at least present in there to go back and respond to what people are saying. So if you posted, like for example, I'll post like an extra HIIT workout or something fun for my challengers, and my phone will be going off ding 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 because everybody's responding to it. I need to make sure that I'm going back in there at some point during the day to respond and be present. So that's basically how I do it. I schedule my time with that. Every single day has got a post. Especially since we're here, we still want our groups to be going, and this helps ensure that my challenges are taken care of and that they feel that I'm still there, I guess. But that's how I do that.
And if you guys, and I really like what you're talking about, because I think some people need to realize that just because you're a top 10 coach, your time is not perfect. We all have the same 24 hours, and it's a matter of just dealing with it. There's never a perfect balance. There's no such thing as a perfect balance.
There isn't. And the biggest thing is if you're really focusing on time management, we talk a lot about like a power hour too. If you want to use that time and you're using your Hootsuite and you want to go back and respond during your power hour, utilize that.
Okay, so one of the things that you also brought up is follow-up, because you are anywhere within the 5-step invitation. You could be on step 1 with someone or step 5 as you're managing that, right? And on top of that, you're managing your groups that you're currently running. So, Becky, talk about that. Follow up not only with people in your group, but also people outside. How have you found time to manage all that? Any other tips as far as, software or apps, or do you use what Heather uses as well?
Well, I want to thank them first of all, because
Yeah.
I never used the Hootsuite for posting in the challenge groups until they told me about it, and I'm like, I got to do this. So all my groups are taken care of for the week because they introduced me to it, so thank you. I just left my job August last year, 2013, and I was dealing with the same issues that you guys are dealing with, and I still kind of do it the same way. I would do all my posts in the morning before going to work. During the day at lunchtime, I would check in, but I would come back in the evening and make sure, because not everybody works out I used to work out at 5 o'clock in the morning. Not everybody was on my same schedule, so I needed to come back. And that's kind of like what the image shows, is the reminder to me to come back and come talk to my people, see how their day went, how was their workout, what did they eat for the day, tell me how I can help you. And it's important about the interaction, and I know Heather touched upon it. If someone is just falling off the map or they're not posting, reach out to them, find out what's going on with their day. Maybe they're going through something, and you could be that person to help them get through it. So just schedule your time, try to come back in the evening. It won't take you a lot of time, but answer your messages and make sure that they know that you're there for them.
Okay, so let me expand on that, because I was in an office one time, and Jeremy Red, whom you work with, he pulls up this spreadsheet and you've got it organized. So what have you found? Speaking of time management, okay, so you talked about the morning, checking in the evening. The temptation that I see is people trying to get in, you know, some time at work or during the break or when they're hanging out with their kids or their families. And so what have you found specifically on your own time management? Now I'm talking about your schedule during the week that works well for you.
That's a good question.
Because you seem organized, right?
I am. I think it's a habit because I do have it on my phone. I just use my phone to schedule my time, but I know that this is the way I've done it since Challenge Packs came out. So I know first thing in the morning, I need to go in there, see how everybody's doing, but I need to come back to them. And I know that it's a number one priority because remember, these are the people that first of all, you sold them something because you said you wanted to help them. So you're not going to dump them in a group and then post one time and walk away and forget about them. You need to be there for them, and they need to feel that you didn't just sell them a challenge pack and you're like, later, on to the next one.
I like that. I think that's very, very important. And the reason why I asked that is, again, everybody struggles with that. And it's just getting more best practices. So I love it. By the way, did you guys catch? She went full-time when in October?
August.
August? Can we give her a hand? I mean, she just went full-time as a full-time Beachbody coach.
I actually announced it at Summit last year on stage was when I made the decision that when I got back, I was gonna fire my boss. So I did.
There you go. Dream big. Never give up. Awesome. Okay, so as you're building challenge groups, you have a lot of customers, but I also know that you help a lot of customers become coaches. Some of your customers become coaches and they want to build and they want to, they want to go out there and build a business just like you are. So on the subject, Lauren, of time management, okay, how do you manage both your customers and your coaches? What's your focus like during a day in the life or a week in the life of Lauren Duke?
Holy moly, a week in the life of me. Life is constantly shifting for me, and you kind of have to roll with it and be consistent. And so we were laughing that we all suck at time management, and it's really funny that we have these questions because we're constantly evolving as mothers. But, and I'm going to answer your question, it is important to give your coaches to take the time to train them. And so you have to be very diligent about being present in your team and being present in your challenge groups and setting aside that time and making sure the two don't mix. I'm in the process right now of going through something with Jeremy Red called buckets. And I have to put my life into 5 buckets. And in order of priority, they each get a color. And I give this much time a week to priority 1. Priority 2, priority 3, and I give it a time, and then it doesn't mix. Like my buckets don't spill over into another. And that's something I'm really focusing on so that I am consistent, I am on track, I'm not a frazzled mess, I'm mom, my husband's in Afghanistan, I'm dad. So I have to be a lot of things right now, and it's important that no bucket goes empty and no bucket overflows. And so I'm a visual person, and so I have to see it that way. So I have to schedule, okay, I'm going to be with my coaches and make sure they have all the announcements. And we have a schedule on our team. I post Sunday night for Monday. Monday, we know the team call's coming up on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're getting ready for rank advancements, and Thursday. It just rolls. And as long as I keep consistent, I'm teaching my coaches the same thing. And so they pick it up and go, hey, I wonder why Lauren didn't post that. So they're starting to do it on their own, and same with the challengers. I make sure that I take the time to give myself to them every day.
Do you find that your coaches end up doing the same? So obviously you've got quite a few coaches that are here. Do you find that they're also duplicating what you're doing? Is your goal, obviously this is a business of duplication. What you do well or not well duplicates. So are you finding that your coaches are able to do that themselves?
I am. I have to give them the reins. I am a control freak, And I have to say, I give you ownership of this team. It's not just my team, it's our team. And so by giving them that, I'm allowing them to lead so that eventually, as they grow, they're ready to leave the nest and fly and have strong teams of their own. And so it's good for me to let them take some ownership of the team and lead and duplicate and then sit back and just be proud mama.
Excellent. I love that. I think that's very important to be able to balance both home
I don't have
life,
it down.
customer, coach. You do the best you can. I think that's the number one lesson that we're learning here today. Okay, so let's go. Actually, we're going back to you, Lauren.
Hello.
Okay, we're talking about who'd like to know how to turn your customers into coaches. Anybody in here?
Yep.
Okay, sounds like it's a popular subject. So let's talk
It's like
talk
12
about.
people who want to do that. That
12
was
people.
woo.
Are there only 12 people that want to do that? Come on now. Okay, very cool. Okay, Lauren, obviously you've got quite a number of coaches here. Can you stand Lauren's team?
I mean, they're kind of sprinkled.
Okay.
They're not.
All right.
They're back there.
Very cool. Awesome. So these coaches, some of them were in your challenge groups. So what specific traits did you look for in them that told you how to approach them? They're going to be my next coach.
Well, I look for Batgirl. So, no, I'm just kidding. This is one of my challengers named Morgan, and that's Wacky Wednesday in the flesh. You can see it on the screen. And what I noticed about her and her friend Lori, they joined together to do the 21-day fix. They were issuing challenges on their own. They were posting their recipes, and they were giving people the links, and they took over, and I sat back. And I was like, you're doing my job. Look at you. And so what I look for are people who are excited, who are motivating, who are encouraging, who are just passionate about what they're experiencing, and they're encouraging others. They're invested in the group process, and they're taking time to be like, hey, you haven't posted in a couple days. Are you feeling okay? You said you were kind of sick. How are you feeling now? They're totally posting on their own, and so I issued a Wacky Wednesday challenge. I had a sick kid that day. Morgan showed up as Batgirl, and I was like, Coach, yes. And so she and I had a conversation, and I was just like, you're awesome. And she was doing the challenges on her own and kind of making fun of herself. I'm kind of goofy, and I like to have fun, and I think I attract goofy people. I'm not calling my coaches goofy. Yes, I am. And so I look for fun-loving people who love others. So that's what I'm looking for.
Awesome. By the way, we're doing great with time. I know that you guys have a lot more questions. Write them down. I think we'll actually have some time to answer some questions.
snap.
So I know you guys have questions. So think about them and
Yeah.
write them down. So, Becky, let's talk about what traits, what do you look for? I'm sure some of it the same, but what do
Yes.
you look for specifically for
Very
someone to say?
similar to Lauren. I mean, you're gonna see it emerge naturally. The ones that are checking in and encouraging others to post. But all of you, well, most of you should have challenge groups going right now. I know I mentioned I did do the Hootsuite, but I did give some people responsibility to, make sure that the group keeps on flowing while I'm away. So that's something that you can do. Who is watching your groups right now? You could have assigned that responsibility to somebody. You're giving them that leadership role that they're probably looking for. They will be flattered. And you're training them. They're going through a mini 5-day training on how to run your challenge group. And I think it's an effective way for them to see that they can do this, that they fit, that they've already been doing it, like you mentioned, because they just don't know it yet. And other things, like I've had a group back last summer that was just simply amazing, and all it took was for one of them to say, man, I'm thinking about coaching. And all of a sudden, everybody was like, yeah, me too. I'm like, yes, because you're all awesome. So you have to be also watching them. You need to see that they're participating, that they are actually coach material, and then start the private conversation with these people.
But there's
That's
more
a perfect
to it.
segue, yeah.
There's more to it, and it was on the slide, and I forgot to mention it. I've watched as people tag me in their posts, and they're thanking me, and that opens up the door for communication to be like, I'm not doing it. You're the one pressing play every day. You fill your containers. You're posting. You're doing it, and you validate them. But when they tag you, they're letting everyone know what they're doing. When they start to post on their own page, they're doing exactly what you do. Only they're sharing with others. They're letting people know, hey, I'm doing this thing and I want to thank my coach. And then they're like, I'm going to hook you up with her. And you're like, referral, yes. So I love that. I love it when I see the challengers already sharing with other people.
So I like that. So you posted your challenge. You're posting a picture of Batman. So one of the things that Becky talked about is starting the private conversation, which is the way you want to start it. So I know a lot of coaches here want to know, what's that conversation look like? What's the step-by-step guide? What is it that you share with that challenger and customer and say, you should consider becoming a coach? What's your process?
I actually, that's the exact conversation I had with Morgan. Morgan and Lori are now coaches. Hello. And just love them. They're dear friends now. And that's kind of the progression that it takes with me, is I want that relationship with them. So I take the time to personally message them. I just say, hey, you know what? You're inspiring me. Because they are. They're doing exactly what I love to do, and I get to watch it. I get to be a part of that. And so I say, you know what, thank you for being so involved in the group. You're inspiring me, and you know what you're doing? You're coaching. Hey, why don't you think about doing this? And it kind of, if the seed wasn't already planted, like you said, with your, challenger, they're like, so what is coaching? And it just opens up the door, because what's the worst? You've been having this conversation with them in the challenge group. You already have a relationship with them. You've been sharing goofy photos and posting challenges. Why not have a personal conversation with them and just let them know how important they are to the group and that they're helping other people? So right there, you are coaching just like I do. And when they realize I'm already doing it, it's not rocket science. I don't have to have a certification. I'm a mom. I can do this on my own time because I already am. They see that it's something doable, that they enjoy, that they're good at, and that fulfills them. So.
And it sounds like a lot of recognition, quite frankly. You're recognizing them for what they were doing already, praising them, and letting them know you're doing a great job, and you're doing what I'm doing. But out there, who's heard the objection of, I'm still in the middle of my transformation, so I shouldn't be a coach?
Holy mackerel.
How about, I'm not a salesperson? How about, I don't have time? Okay. Can we help you guys answer that? Would it be worth it to answer those questions? Okay. Who wants to take which? It's wide open, so.
Oh, I just pointed at you.
Me? I get every objection in the book. And it's funny because people will say that because if you're a top coach, you don't get it anymore. We all get them. So I'll take the transformation one. I always tell people that say, well, I haven't started my fitness journey, or I'm dead smack in the middle of my fitness journey. I need to finish this. Like, that drives me crazy when somebody says, well, I'm only 30 days into this. Great. This is now the best time for you to become a coach, because people want somebody that they can go on a journey with. They don't care if you still need to lose 50 pounds. You don't need to look like a supermodel or a bodybuilder or whatever. Coaching to me is about the value that you're adding. And one thing is it keeps you accountable. And that's what I tell them. I say, hey, you're still on your journey. You becoming a coach is going to help keep you accountable to finish what you're doing. And you're going to have other people doing it with you. It's a duplicatable process. Like when you're going back into your challenge groups and you're finding those people who are standing out to you and you're approaching them about the coaching opportunity and you're still in the middle of your challenge, that's usually when you're going to get that objection. And you tell them, hey, guess what? We're going to start another challenge group together so you can finish this, but you're going to have that accountability for yourself and you're going to help other people because you're already doing it. And a lot of times that light bulb goes off and they're like, you know what? You're right. And I just think it's that accountability piece with it, really reassuring them that it's about the accountability. Who cares where you're at?
And I'm going to piggyback on that. I was at a Super Saturday event as a pretty new coach in Santa Monica at headquarters, and a coach was sitting in the front, and she stood up and she said, and she was in the midst of her transformation. And she stood up, tears in her eyes, and I'm not going to cry. And she said, thank you for everybody who started as a coach who wasn't perfect. You inspired me. I wouldn't be doing this if you didn't have a before story. You know, and so it's really important that we are vulnerable and that we say, I've been on a journey. You know, not to say I'm perfect, but I have come a long way. I didn't look like this, you know, years ago. And I do have a story. And so people, they stereotype you. They look at you and go, well, I mean, how do you know what I've been through? And I'm like, oh, don't go there. So I tell the story. I have a sad story. But you know what? Without that story, I wouldn't have this. I use my story because of that. So when people give me objections, and I'm trying not to get fired up, but I share with them that passion that I have, that what's an excuse, really? You are on a journey. Why don't you share that with someone? Why don't you give someone else a hand to hold? Why don't you relate with someone? Why don't you show them, I'm going to do this so you can inspire other people? And objections kind of get me fired up, like you said. Don't get me started. I had an objection today, right before I came here, and I was a little teary-eyed because I've been talking to this gentleman for quite a while, and he said, you're at the top of the mountain. I'm at the bottom at base camp. And I went, I started right where you were. Zero people, zero contacts, zero coaches. I understand. So we've all been on a journey, and I can help you get to your mountain, but don't compare yourself with me. Have your own story, your own journey. And so I get a little, that was a rabbit trail, wasn't it? But
A good one. Just answer your question.
But anyway, to piggyback on Heather, figuratively. Yes, sorry. Okay. She thanked everyone in the crowd who had had a before picture because we all start somewhere. And there you go.
For a hand.
Am I red?
Dialed up there, huh?
They're just hitting their stride.
I mean,
Full time. You were full time until August of last year. So how, you've got that objection, and they go, I don't have time.
Well, I mean, for me, it's hard to convey that to you guys. I can tell you, if you really want it, you're gonna find the time. You're gonna make it happen. But to a new coach or a prospect, I just need them to see, especially if they're already doing it. We're converting here. I mean, they're already doing it. They believe in the products. They're posting on Facebook. I mean, why not? It's already there. You're already laying the foundation. It's just time now to go, jump in, do this, follow us and do it. But I think at the heart of it is that they have to believe that you believe in them, because everybody wants that. I think that's something that is probably missing in a lot of people's lives, and by you believing in them and telling them that you would be great at this, you're already doing it, you're doing the work, you can put in this and this can change your life. You have to continue to build them up and encourage them, but never convince them. That's one thing that I've been wanting to say, I think since the first time, is that that's just a no-no. If you have to convince somebody to join your team and jump into this business, then something went wrong along the way, because they need to feel that they belong on your team and that they belong in this business. So don't convince them. Tell them how much you believe in them and how good they would be at this, and show them what the value that it will bring to their lives, but also how much it can change and impact their lives and their families' lives.
Yeah, can I say something on the
Please.
time thing real quick?
Yeah.
I just want to jump off of that. We did a few Skype chats, and people say, well, you were never working a full-time job. You're a stay-at-home mom. Because I know there's a ton of stay-at-home moms here.
don't go there.
Do not go there, because I seriously, when we had our Skype chats, I'd have my laptop and then they wouldn't see me, because I'd be like, hey, I'm in the other room changing my other kid's poopy diaper, I mean, life goes on, and that's what you have to tell your prospects when they bring up that time management piece, is like, you said, you can fit it in, you just have to want it. You can't convince the unconvincible. I say that probably 50 times a day. It comes to just being an excuse, and you just have to tell them it's something that you want. I get people asking me, well, how can I reach the level of success that you have? You have to want it. Bottom line.
It is
There
the
you
bottom
go.
line.
How about we give him a hand? Fantastic. So like I said earlier, we actually do have some time for questions. So raise your hand for questions. And actually, I'm going to go backstage, get some questions answered from both sides of
Christina, you're not allowed to
the
ask,
room.
no.
So we're going to go with Christina Delgado. If you guys exit, please do it quietly. We want to be respectful of the people that are staying right here. So.
Hi. Should
That's
I put
my
my
sister,
sister
by
on
the
the
way.
spot?
She should not have the mic.
Yeah, she should not be allowed.
So, speaking to the coaches and Emerald coaches or someone that's starting their business, do all challenge groups work? And what do you do if nobody joins?
Okay, so my first challenge group had 4 people, and I was just blessed that they were friends of mine. I'm just saying. And they rocked it out, and 3 of them became coaches who are still with me today. And my second one tanked. Like, I was like, where are you? Where are you? They were nowhere. And so I was like, can I sit in on your challenge group? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then I would go to somebody else, and can I just sit in and learn from you? I didn't sit there. I would join a challenge group with somebody else. You know, I was like, we're gonna make this happen. I am not gonna leave these people high and dry, and I'm not gonna fail, dang it. So we're gonna make this happen, whether you like it or not. No, it wasn't like that. But, you know, some people, they weren't ready. Those 2 people were not ready. They said they were, but life happened. Like you said, life happens. And we rolled with it, and you know what, they came back. And they're like, I had some issues, I broke my whatever, my kid had whatever, and I'm ready now. See, don't take it personally, which is what I did at first. And I had to read Go for No and bang my face against that glass over and over until I loved it. And that's just, you just have to kind of be malleable. You have to go with it and learn from it.
Hi. My problem is none of my
There you go.
none of my challengers or coaches are on Facebook. Yeah, and that's what my problem is even starting one.
Okay, I get a lot of this too. I have people who don't want to join social media. I have told people there's a couple options. Create your social media, create a fake name. Don't put a profile picture up there. Reassure them that it's a secret group. If you don't have secret challenge groups, they need to be secret. That way people can't see their posts because, you get women who post pictures of them in their underwear. We don't need that all over Facebook. So you can reassure them that. Or if they really are just totally against it, do a weekly 10-minute phone call with them just to check in, or have them email you. But challenge groups are done via social media. Or my other option is if a lot of people do things locally, they'll do a weekly get-together and do a meeting. They'll get some, healthy lunch or whatever, do a workout together, kind of like a mini fit club, but just doing things like that. But I would really see if they could at least just create a fake Facebook account. Heck, use some fake picture, whatever they want to do.
That.
Because that way nobody really knows. Most people are okay with doing that.
Hi.
Hi, just wondering about the ones that go quiet in your challenge groups.
Can you push the mic? Thank you.
Sorry. How long do you pursue them before you just to encourage them to come back? And when's the point where you just kind of say, okay, you're not ready right now, let us know, you're more than welcome to come back in? How long do you kind of pursue them before you just kind of let them go do their thing?
I think that's a gut feeling. I've had tons of those, and I'll message them, every couple days, and if they're just not even responding back, or they're really delayed, or I'm just after a certain 2 weeks or so, I'm just you know what, when they're ready, they'll come back to me. And it happens. They'll come back, and maybe they, I do have this one girl that I'm thinking about that she needs to lose a lot of weight. And I have tried so hard. I'll get on the phone with you. I will plan your meals. Can you please call me? And she will not call me. She won't. And I just let it go. And the other day she messaged me. She's like, okay, but I've lost 26 pounds. So she's doing something, but for some reason she just maybe doesn't want, I don't know. There's a gut feeling that you have where you just know, okay, I've done enough, they're not ready, they'll come back.
And one thing I always do is I send a final message. I will do you know, I'm sorry if I'm bugging you. You seem super excited about this challenge. If it's not for you, I totally understand, but I don't want to be bugging you anymore. When you're ready, just let me know. I don't want to be that harassing person. And then they usually respond and say thank you, which is really funny and kind of
Thumbs
cliche. But that's what I do. And then maybe next month, when you're starting your next challenge group, message them and say, hey, I'm not trying to bug you, but I know we talked last month and you weren't quite ready, but I'm running this challenge or whatever you're doing, and re-invite them and say, if you're not interested, that's okay, but I wanted to extend the offer because you were the first person that popped in my head, which kind of gets them thinking, oh, they're still thinking of me. They still care, which is huge. So that's another tip.
Yeah.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you for keeping it real and making us laugh
I
today.
have to be
There's-
goofy and funny.
I
Sorry.
love it, love it. Do you ladies hold the challenges in private groups, or do you have a team group that you hold it in? Do you close the group once the challenge is over and start a new one? And for Lauren, you mentioned something about having a schedule for your coaches, like Monday you send out this, and Tuesday you send out this, and
Your
sorry,
notebook
ladies.
fell.
I was just wondering if you could expand on that.
Okay, so back to the first question. You need the mic again. You need the mic. Okay. The first question was twofold. What was it?
Yeah, do you girls hold the challenge groups in separate private groups, or do you have like a big team group
Oh, I
that you
see what
hold
you
it
mean.
in?
Okay.
And do you close that once the challenge is over, or do you?
Oh, I see what you mean. Go, me? Yep.
Well,
Oh,
I've
go.
tried everything under the sun, and I think that's something that you all need to take away from this is that we all do things differently, and we've tried a million things looking for the one that works. At one point, my sister and I had big groups for all the programs. Okay, we figured out that really didn't work so well. So we went back to the smaller group, more intimate. I think those work better, but that works better for me. That's the way what I think. I think people build relationships there. You don't lose people. In a big group, you can lose track of people. So for that, I think a small intimate group works better where you can communicate one-on-one.
I do a lot of things. And I've learned, like you said, to do a lot of different things. So if we're doing a 21-day fix group, it's 21-day fix. And it's private, it's secret, it's closed, done. We post every day in there. We keep it intimate, like you said. But on my team, you know, when a new program comes out, like PIO, I'm like, we're doing a Thrive Challenge group. Ready? If you have a challenger, put their name down. We're going to do it together. We're going to learn this program together. What you find is that coaches who are brand new learn how to run a challenge group. And they're like, thank you. I was so stressed out, I had one person. And that helps them get the feel for it so that they're ready to go off and do their own. So we learned that, and you know, within our team page, we'll have people go, I have 2 people who are ready to do 21-day fix. Does anyone have a group? Sure, I've got a group, I'll put them in there. But you have to be there as a coach.
Exactly.
You don't drop the kids off at the pool and say, hey, you're in there watching them swim, you know, and you're saving them and calling them out and you know, all that stuff. You're in there. So we learned that, and I talked to my leaders. I was like, she cannot just drop her coaches off or her challengers off and make me watch them. No, it doesn't work that way. You learn how to lead. So we do it both ways. I don't know what's funny.
My coaches.
Okay.
She's being her crazy self.
And to your question about the schedule, you guys know the national wake-up call is Monday. You get the slide in your email Sunday. Copy that thing, put it in your team page. There you go. Monday. Who's leading the team call Tuesday? Write up a write-up, get everyone excited, pin it to the top of your page. Team call. That's for Tuesday. Wednesday. Hey, do you guys know this is the last day for you to qualify for free leads, Success Club leads for the end of the month? You remind them those things every Wednesday, you guys. It's cycle bonus time. It's the end of the week. Who is going for rank? Are your ducks in a row? Has everyone checked their downline? I am totally riding your tail. You got it? No. Yes, I am. And my coaches are like, yes, yes. No. You have to have a schedule, and because you're teaching them to look for those things within their business. You're not just riding them and cracking the whip. You're teaching them to remember, it's Wednesday. Wait, wasn't she going to be Emerald this week? Yeah, I need to check on her. Is everyone active? Are we good to go? Especially when it comes to cycle bonus time, and I'm going on a whole nother tangent. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there is a schedule to our week as coaches. We all know that. There's nothing wrong with keeping that flow because you're teaching your coaches to do the exact same thing.
Hi, this is my second week as a coach, and I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I am in a challenge group now, and I'm planning my first one to start July. So the question for you is, do you require every member to either buy a challenge pack or Shakeology, or do you have any opportunities where people just start and you get them in there and then they want to buy? How do you approach that?
Oh, you looked at me. Okay. I tell my coaches to do it both ways. But here's the thing. When you're having that conversation with someone and you're talking about a program and they go, great, I'm going to order it without Shakeology. You go, wow, you save so much with Shakeology. Let me break it down for you. So I give them apples and oranges. I tell them the value of Shakeology. I give the ingredients. I show them the savings. I tell them, you got the whole program right here. If they opt to go without Shakeology, they're in a group with somebody else who's using it, and they go, oh, that looks really good. Huh, what's that recipe again? So, I mean, I mix it up. I don't require it. I did it first, and I had a couple people go, well, that's not very nice. You're making me buy that to be in your group. And I was like, ooh, okay. And, you know, it was just a bad experience. So I offer it, and if they would opt to have Shakeology, I say, may I ask why? I open up a conversation with them. May I ask why? Well, have you tried the vegan? Because I'm vegan, and I can't have any whey, and I have digestive issues, TMI. And, you know, we have those conversations, and then they go, well, you know what, I might try it. 9 times out of 10, I think I will try it. Great. And then if you want, you can cancel, but you know what? Continue to use it, and you're just going to feel better and better and better. Okay, take it.
I do both. Okay, so for me, I have a fitness group for everybody I coach, whether they ever purchase something or not. That way, they get in this group, and there's people doing 50 programs, drinking Shakeology, doing this, and it kind of ripples because I'm not the only one talking about it. Other people are. But then I have my strict challenge groups where if you want to do this, where you're getting a bit more of my attention, then yes, it's required. And something new that I'm doing, because one of the other leaders on Team Boston, and a lot of them are doing this, is we're starting like free 7-day or 30-day challenges. Like I'm doing like this build a booty because I have a competition in 3 weeks and I have to grow my butt a little bigger. Anyways, as you guys all know. And in that group, it's not required. But what I put in there is I'm going to give you guys a 7-day meal plan. Shakeology is on this meal plan. You can choose to have it or not. I went through like 6 boxes of Shakeology packets because people are like, okay, I want to try it. Guess what? These people are going to get hooked, and they're going to be like, you know what? I think I want to join in one of your challenges. Boom. So.
Okay, we got one last question from Anna. She's been a coach for 7 months.
Hi, ladies. Thank you very much for
Hi.
spending your time with us today. Becky, I just had one question for you. I've run, obviously, a few challenges over the last 7 months. What do you do at the end of your challenge when you have maybe some people that were rocking it out, they're not ready to become a coach yet, but they really want to continue? Do you put them into another challenge group, and then you've got those that maybe weren't active? Do you let them kind of fall away? How do you kind of close that out, really close the door and move on so you know how many groups you're managing and the people know where their expectations go?
Okay, I have right now several 21-day clean eating groups, and I just have kept them open way longer than 21 days because the people in there have built relationships, and they're all still going through the journey together, and I don't want to break them up, and they don't want to break up. And I've had, especially with combat for some reason, last year, the bonds that these groups, they went through several rounds together, so I did not close them. So I just let them kept on, they chose different programs and they kept on going. Now, if the group just like totally, you know, if it tanks, it's gonna tank, and you just close it off. But I would not break people apart if they are thriving together and encouraging each other, because that's such a huge part of these challenge groups.
How about a hand for Lauren Duke, Heather Foltz, and Becky Brosette?
Thank you.